Chicharito Hernandez suffers a career-threatening injury. Julio Urias' comeback suffers a setback. And the Kings may be looking outside the organization for their next starting goalie. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the Faithful Angelenos Morning Report. It is June 10th, 2023. Yes, I am broadcasting from my car, and there's a reason for it. There's thunderbolts and lightning. Very, very frightening all over the roads on this road trip in Oklahoma. Very, very frightening. Unless, of course, you're from LA, where you face gunfire. Big difference. Angelenos are a lot tougher than you think, people. Straight up. Now, we had a new subscriber to the Angeleno Familia yesterday. Thank you for getting in on the ground floor. Anybody who wants to be in the know about LA sports, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And yes, comment. There's always good stuff to talk about. Fascinating stuff to talk about in LA sports. So, a quick look at the scoreboard before we go to the news and notes. Look, the Dodgers are struggling. There's no sugarcoating it. It is true that Freddie Freeman had a good game, 2 for 5 with an RBI, but the Phillies walked it off on the Dodgers bully, 5-4, Philadelphia with the victory. The Dodgers are now 2.5 games behind the Arizona Diamondbacks. Not time to ring the alarm bell. Not exactly comforting either. Nanika Ogumike scored 19 points for the Sparks in a 77-62 victory over Chicago. LA is 4-3. Meanwhile, today, the Dodgers are at Philadelphia at 1. Bobby Miller is 2-0 with a 1.06 ERA. Aaron Nola, 5-4 with a 4.30 ERA. And LAFC is playing Houston at 5:30. This is the third match in a week for the Black and Gold. And by the way, LAFC did not win either of the two games this week. As suspected by dozens of highly qualified Twitter medical professionals, Galaxy striker Javier Chicharito Hernandez is going to miss the rest of MLS season with a ruptured anterior cruciate ligament in the right knee. Hernandez is Mexico's all-time leading scorer. He also played for Manchester United. He played for Real Madrid. He is an internationally recognized soccer superstar. He is also going to have his knee surgically repaired. For a non-athlete, getting your ACL taken care of requires 6 to 9 months to heal. Now, the timetable may be a little shorter for him because, of course, he is an athlete. But again, he's also 35. Age does factor in. And in addition to that, yes, I realize MLS Cup is about 6 months away, but that's a pretty heavy ask of the Galaxy because the Galaxy right now are among the worst teams in MLS. So it's highly unlikely you're going to see, slim to none, that you see Hernandez back in a Galaxy kit this year. And for that matter, what about next year? He's 35. He was struggling this year before the injury. He had only 1 goal and 1 assist, and he had a hamstring injury to boot. Now, prior to this year, Hernandez was tremendous. In the 2 years before this one, he scored 35 goals. He was amazing. Because of that, though, the Galaxy made him the 3rd highest paid player in the league. And the contract runs out at the end of the year. So if you're the Galaxy, it's highly unlikely that you're going to pay through the nose for somebody in his mid-30s with a surgically repaired knee. Frankly, you could easily say he's done with the Galaxy. Maybe he gets with another team elsewhere, but again, mid-30s, your knee just got repaired. It is possible, by the way, that LA could use the vacancy to sign another DP to replace Hernandez in the lineup. However, it is doubtful that LA can sign a player outside of North America during the summer transfer window. As you recall, the team was sanctioned by MLS for a contract cheating scandal. So those are the facts. I want to give you a couple of takes on Chicharito's career wearing the blue, white, and gold. It is my belief that although Chicharito did not have the results of some of the team's most legendary strikers, I believe Chicharito is going to be fondly missed by Galaxy fans because I can think of 3 reasons just off the top of my head. 1, the man had to replace Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Talk about a tough act to follow. How would you like to fill those boots? I wouldn't. Hell no, I wouldn't. And because of that, because so many people adored Zlatan, I have to ask, as cold as this might sound to you, do you think Zlatan appreciated Galaxy fans as much back? I don't think so. I doubt it. I think he liked Galaxy fans. But if you compare that to Chicharito, Chicharito represented the Galaxy badge. He represented the captain's armband as the honors that they were. And he was not only there to celebrate the good times with Galaxy fans, he was there to take responsibility for the bad. Even when the bad things going on with the Galaxy were clearly not his fault at all. And I think people genuinely appreciate that. People respect the responsible. People respect those who decide to take the mantle of leadership. He would be there in the good times and bad. Now, he was a different player than Zlatan. Zlatan could create his own shot. Chicharito needed somebody to pass him the ball. And by the way, that's what makes Ricky Puig so delightful to watch when he and Chicharito were on the pitch at the same time. Because without somebody of the quality of Ricky Puig, Chicharito had trouble getting the ball. With Ricky Puig, you saw some of the most exciting goals in MLS last year, right? So yes, they're for the good, but they're for the bad. Chicharito was thrown to the wolves of the press corps despite every Galaxy loss and or win to explain the Klein out scandal. Chicharito had nothing to do with any of that. And yet he still took responsibility to answer the questions of those problems. Like it was his fault. Who are we kidding? But I also want to give you another reason why I believe Chicharito is going to be fondly missed. Here's a secret that people outside of LA do not understand. The outside of LA, people look at LA, they think Hollywood, they think glitz, they think glamour. And in terms of sports, they're thinking about Kobe and LeBron and the Dodgers and USC. Back in the day, they would think of Wayne Gretzky. And with the Galaxy, they would think of Zlatan. But if you really want to know the thing that people don't understand about LA, LA is a blue-collar town. It's hard scrabble. Now, Chicharito didn't score many legendary, flashy goals with LA. He scored the tough ones. He scored the ones where in order to get into scoring position, you were getting kicked, you were taking elbows, you had to fight for position in order to get that tap in. That was Chicharito's specialty. They weren't always flashy, but he got goals in bunches by outworking his opponent with guile and with toughness. And I'm here to tell you, people respect that a lot. People look at Zlatan and they see those highlight reels and they're like, there's no way in God's green earth I could do that. But if you looked at Chicharito Hernandez and the way he scored goals, you could say to yourself, you know what? I realize he's a better athlete than I am, but that is somebody who's maximizing and just grinding every single day. And Angelenos are just doing that across the city, across the region. So yeah, we respect that. Absolutely. You can see yourself a little bit in Chicharito Hernandez. He wasn't Wayne Gretzky. He was more like a Luc Robitaille. And Luc Robitaille is beloved with the Kings fans. So that's what made yesterday's news particularly melancholy. Because there's a rivalry between the Americans and Mexico in soccer, but even American fans could appreciate that level of work ethic. So yeah, it wasn't simply about the Galaxy losing a captain. It was about losing somebody who is aspirational. So best of luck to Mr. Hernandez as he tries to recover. Julio Urias suffered a setback in his rehab from a hamstring problem. He will not be starting this weekend over in Philadelphia, which LA had previously hoped for. LA is down 5 starting pitchers if you count Walker Buehler. They are literally down an entire starting rotation from the injuries to the pitching staff. If you include Walker Buehler, who is technically on the roster even though he's not pitching this year, you would also include Urias, Dustin May, Noah Syndergaard, Ryan Pepiot. That's a 5-man rotation, and with the exception of Syndergaard, a pretty damn good one. Urias now the original plan was to have a rehab on the sidelines and pitch this weekend. Now it looks like he's going to have to go to the minor leagues to rehab. So we're not just talking about a setback of a couple of days. We might be talking about a setback of a couple of weeks. So the Dodgers are going to have to really try to cobble together some sort of major league pitching over the next 2 weeks. Catcher Austin Barnes was hit on the hand by a pitch in Cincinnati on Thursday. X-rays were negative. Dave Roberts said that top prospect Diego Cartaya is not an option to replace Barnes if the catcher misses time. There is no strong indication as to who will play in net for the Kings next year. Joonas Korpisalo was acquired by the Kings in a trade with Columbus at the deadline. He will be an unrestricted free agent at this end of the season. There is very little chatter between the Kings and Korpisalo's people. And can you blame Rob Blake for being a little hesitant, exercising caution before rewarding Korpisalo? If you recall, on last season's opening night roster, the Kings had more than $10 million committed to 2 goalies who were no longer, in Quick's case, no longer elite, and Cal Peterson's case, never elite. So trying to see if there's a better option, more bang for the buck, and I totally get it. The Kings also hired Mike Buckley as the new goalie coach. He succeeds Bill Ranford, who was named director of goalkeeping for the entire organization. Buckley worked with Pittsburgh for 8 years. USC's football team has picked up another 4-star commitment for 2024 in linebacker Elijah Newby from Connecticut. Newby is the 23rd ranked linebacking prospect, a top 300 prospect overall. They had an amazing prospect shindig over at Heritage Hall last weekend for the class of 2024 recruiting cycle. It has netted them so far 5 commitments. Hell of a party it must have been. I've said before that I think the blog Turf Show Times is a decent source for Rams updates, but it gave an upgrade, or I should say, it gave a scouting report of the wide receivers that frankly I very much disagree with. The thesis for the article was that wide receiver was a puzzle not yet solved. And I'm here to tell you, if the Rams receiving core is a puzzle, then it's a puzzle on the level of Wheel of Fortune. This is not a Rubik's Cube trying to figure out which guys are going to be playing wide receiver for the Rams. It is not that difficult. They just have a lot of guys there. They have 13 wide receivers on the roster right now. 13. And I'm sorry, but the vast majority of them are not going to get substantial playing time. Not behind Cooper Kupp and Van Jefferson. Those are your top 2 wide receivers. So you're looking for a number 3. And we've talked about this repeatedly. The number 3 could be Tutu Atwell, it could be Ben Skowronek, and it could be rookie Puka Nacua. All 3 of them, though, have question marks. Skowronek drops passes. That's not effective. Atwell is small. And Nacua, he hasn't played a snap of pro ball yet. So they all have issues. Also, we had spoken about the LA Sparks a few days ago, about how their defense is creating baskets and helping them to, frankly, no longer suck as much. They are second in the league in steals. Coach Kurt Miller credits Jordan Canada for being the head of the snake defensively, in his words. He added that in the one game that she did not play, LA had no defensive presence at all and just flat out got smoked. So if you're looking for a reason, an under-the-wire reason as to why the Sparks are somewhat competitive in the WNBA, it's Jordan Canada. But let me know what you think in the comments thread. Tell me your fond memories of Chicharito Hernandez, even if it's not with the Galaxy. Tell me how you would repair the Dodgers rotation. And if you enjoyed talking LA sports with me, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We talk LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. I can't wait to get back home. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.